Welcome everyone. Here we are today at the Land Rover Experience Centre in Eastnor in the United Kingdom. I'm joined today by Alex, our Land Rover Experience instructor. Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
My name's Adam. We'll be taking on a live test drive here today, testing the 2017 Range Rover Evoque. So without further ado, should we take a bit more of a deep dive and have a look around it?
Indeed. So as you say, 2017 Range Rover Evoque, looking very striking today in Firenze red. We've got that contemporary design, the unique silhouette of Evoque, and this one's complemented really nicely with the dynamic design pack. So we've got beautiful bumpers there, black grills on the sides, and looking rather nice. Also, Range Rover Evoque features little louvres on the bonnet there, all looking rather smart. Lots of options, lots of customization available on Evoque, so you can tweak all of these things, colours, choices, and make it yours.
Beautiful. Well, speaking of customization, I can see through the windows a bit more of the interior. Not something I've seen before, so should we take a look?
Indeed. So quite a striking interior in the vehicle. The contrast between the two different colour in the leather there and the contrast stitching as well, all making rather a bold expression inside the car. Really nice, and again, that customization, that configuration that we can choose whatever we want. All the usual Range Rover refinements in there as well, so our In Control Touch Pro and all the technology and comfort that you'd need for a journey. In the second row, plenty of room as well. So enough room in there for 3 adults, plenty of leg space, plenty of headroom. We've also got the centre armrest, and again, nice inviting place to be. So even with the seats up like this, plenty of room in the boot. So 575 litres of boot space in the Range Rover Evoque. Plenty of room for what you might need. PowerPoint in this car allows us to plug things in, so really handy. A nice day like today, we could plug in the fridge, lash it down on the little lashing eyes there, and head off into the wilds for a picnic.
Excellent. Well, before we do head off, should we just take a quick look about the powertrain, a bit more about the engine as well? Indeed,
let's go to the front. We've got our 2-litre Ingenium diesel, 180 PS, 430 Newton meters of torque. It's connected today with our 9-speed automatic gearbox, so plenty of torque, loads of control, really good for tackling the obstacles we're going to look at. Another nice feature as well we can see on the top here is the air intake system from the car, raised nice and high up, complements Evoque's 500mm wading depth, which we may be able to have a look at later.
So join us, we'll jump in and see what we can do.
Great thing about these cars is we don't need speed to tackle the obstacles. So nice slow approach and just feed the wheel into the first flat and then just a little bit of power, up she goes, no problems at all. A little bit of wheel slip there as you can see, but traction control systems control it and just allow us to climb the hill as easily as that. Next obstacle, little bit interesting, so just easing the car in nice and slowly. So just easing it forward, nice and gently on the brake. We have the hill descent control system on the car, so I'm just going to lower that to its minimum speed, so when we start to descend, it can do the braking for me. But first of all, just got to nudge the car forward. From the outside, you'll be able to see those wheels just lifting ever so slightly. So I'm just guiding the car through, using the brakes, and you can feel it coming over now, lifting that rear wheel quite dramatically up into the air. From in here, we barely notice. From the outside, you can really see what's going on. As we come down, I can take my feet away from the controls. Hill descent will guide me down onto the flat, absolutely effortlessly, no problems at all. So creeping forward, again, lifting the rear wheel up into the air and just guiding the car over the obstacle here. But I mean, from a driver's point of view, as you can see, I'm not working hard. I'm just allowing the car to climb through, using just a little bit of brake just to ease it through nice and slowly and comfortably so that we don't get bounced around. The water here today, around 50 centimetres, so should show us exactly what Evoque is capable of doing. All I need to do, feet away, lower the car in nice and slowly, and then just a little acceleration, just starting to build a little bit of a bow wave, and just moving the car through nice and steadily, generating that wave there, keeping the car in motion as we climb through, and that's just helping to move some of the water out of the way, lower it around the critical components of the car. And the car, as you can see, just climbs through no problems at all. A little bit of a descent into the obstacle here, so again just using the brakes to lower the car in nice and slowly. So quite steep, as you can see, and then as we start to come down, again taking my feet away, allowing the hill descent control to take over. I'm now going to start to turn to the left and just put the car onto a gentle side slope. Feels a little bit weird as we climb up like this, but the car will travel through quite happily. Feels odd, but no bother, no difficulties at all.
I'm going to open my window and have a closer look at just how close I am, goodness.
Indeed. Starting the climb out now, obviously you've got your window open, so do take care in case we do throw any mud and things around, but you should be all right. So just gently starting to move. A little bit of wheel slip there as that front left wheel lifts into the air. So just gradually applying the accelerator, easing the car forward, and it simply climbs up, no hassle, no difficulties at all. And you can feel it just put that wheel down, lift the rear wheel up slightly into the air, and just traction control working to balance the power around between the wheels, and the car just climbs through. Just climbing onto the rollers here, you can probably see on the outside, front wheel starting to come onto the rollers there, and with just one wheel on the roller, the car has no problems at all. The other three wheels keep us moving, but as we get both left-hand side wheels of the car onto those rollers, you can see it start to struggle slightly as those wheels spin, and all I need to do is just give it a little bit of acceleration, just allow the traction control to balance the power between the left and right-hand side of the vehicle, and you can see it pulls forward almost as if those rollers aren't there. You take one look at this and think there is no way a car is going to go up there. But with a nice line and a bit of help from the Evoque, we should be able to clamber through this very, very easily. Just using a touch of throttle, just guiding the car in nice and slowly, not too fast, just enough momentum to keep us moving up the hill, and it'll clamber in quite happily. And as we approach now, starting to lift up on the right-hand side, which means it's lowering the left-hand side, and you'll feel it just, and probably see it from the outside, just starting to break traction a little bit as those wheels lift off the ground. So again, just a small amount of traction control, just easing the car forward, and it will clamber up quite happily. So you can see that rear wheel right up in the air, and yet no problems at all for the car. As I gradually apply the accelerator, traction control systems, you'll see it keep it turning, and the system is just trying to balance the power between all the wheels. You feel it touch back down on the ground there. Again, a little bit of slip as the front left lifts into the air. Traction control eases us forward. You'll see that hopefully on the wheel as it bites with the brakes, and it stop spins as the car is balancing the torque around the wheels. And it's as easy as that.
Alex will be taking us through the terrain and no doubt scaring the life out of me in a very short while. So let's jump in and yeah, let's see what this car can do.
So of course we've got the terrain response, so that's allowing us to configure the car for the different surfaces that we might be travelling over. I'm using the Mud and Ruts program at the moment, so absolutely ideal for the terrain. We've got that hill descent control feature, that's applying the brakes and lowering us down the hill nice and carefully. We've also got a permanent four-wheel drive system, and that is constantly, with the help of traction control, trying to keep a balance of power between the wheels. So as we descend, hill descent control applying the brakes, lowering us down, but then as we climb, that traction control system and the 2-litre Ingenium diesel that we have and the 9-speed gearbox all working together to help keep us moving across the terrain. So Range Rover Evoque is fixed height. We've got coil springs in here, which gives us a really good balance between the on-road driving. We get a good level of comfort and control and a really nice feel as you drive the car on-road, and also still allowing us to travel off-road. So as you can feel, clambering over the tree roots here, the car does a really good job of soaking up the worst of the bumps, keeping the wheels on the ground and keeping us moving through the terrain. Nice little obstacle here, so I'm just going to guide the car through nice and slowly. So just guiding it over the edge nice and gently, and lifting that rear wheel up into the air, quite interesting. But again, beautifully controlled. All we need to do is lower the car down the slope and it comes down quite happily. No bother, no difficulty at all. Lifting a wheel slightly as we come through there, just as it transitions from leaning to the left to leaning to the right. And all I'm doing is just gently easing the car around. One of the fantastic things about these cars is what little effort is required to negotiate terrain like this. ample towing capability, 2,000 kilos, 2 tons, so a very good size caravan, and you're certainly more than your average trailer, so very capable indeed when it comes to towing.
Alex, it's a beautiful day here. To be honest with you, I don't really want to end just on the boring road track. Shall we go straight up the hill and yeah, go off into the beautiful sun?
We'll pop it into grass, gravel, snow, and we can climb the hill. So we're coming back now down onto the tarmac, so we can put the car back into its general program. So to the left on the terrain response, it's special programs off, hill descent control releases and goes off, and we're back to the general program, and it's normal driving and back out onto the road. So you can see we've got the navigation there, so really good navigation system. Traditional Range Rover, it's 4-wheel drive, so that gives us good poise and road handling out there. Again, we've got that coil spring suspension, so it gives us a really nice ride out on the road. The car really drives like a Range Rover, so we've got a good balance of handling, comfort and dynamics as well. We've got an adaptive dynamics system available on the car as part of the dynamic driving pack, which would allow us to tune the car for a more dynamic on-road drive, stiffening the suspension, adjusting the steering, throttle response, gearbox response and 4-wheel drive system to help give us a really good responsive drive out on the road. We've got systems like blind spot monitoring, park assist, which helps us get into tight spaces. We've got lane keep assist, which helps stop us drifting out of the lanes when we're driving on the motorway. Safety systems like advanced brake assist, forward alert and autonomous emergency braking, looking around, adapting us to the road and the conditions. Even things like the cruise control are adaptive, so if you set the cruise control and a slower vehicle gets in front, the car will automatically slow down and keep you at a safe distance behind it. Little touches like the traffic sign recognition and heads-up display allow me to see what the speed limit is on the road and the speed that I'm travelling at in the windscreen in front of me, as easy as that.
Thanks very much everyone for joining us today for the third in this series of the live test drives. I'd just like to say thanks very much to Alex for driving today, and do join us next week where we'll be having next in the series of the live test drives. See you soon. Cheers. If you enjoyed this episode of the live test drives, you have to do one simple thing to not miss the next.
Subscribe to Land Rover's YouTube channel now.
Thanks for watching.